Hi there, this is our Kai Moon with Star Siren Astrology coming to you in this beautiful new moon in Sagittarius. This new moon in Sagittarius is at 4 degrees with the sun. The sun has just moved into Sagittarius, and so we are only now beginning to feel this glimmer of light and fire and this reclamation of purpose and truth that Sagittarian energy brings us. You know, this is a gift of optimism and clarity, rising up onto the mountaintop after this deep dive of Scorpio that we've been in. And the Scorpionic journey is not over. Mercury and Mars are still in Scorpio. Mars has just moved into Scorpio, and Mercury has been retrograde. It is now going direct. God. Mercury has been retrograde since November 1st. It went retrograde the day after All Hallows Eve. And we have been in the deep dive of uncovering, sifting through our desires, our wounds, our shames, like really feeling into what needs to be spoken to, what desires need to be voiced, need to be met, need to be brought the light of our consciousness. You know, if it remains in the dark, if it remains under the table and in the realms of our subconscious, these deep desires can not only not be met, but they also won't be evolved. You know, this deep dive of Scorpio that we've been in has been a distillation process, I think, of what are our desires? Why are we afraid to bring them up? You know, what wounds or what shames, what fears hold our desires from us even being aware of them, even being conscious of them, much less speaking them, bringing them out on the table, laying it out there. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a time of going back and really feeling into it. It's a time of going in. It's a time where the mind, instead of gathering and collecting and extroverting itself, comes in and starts to really process and integrate and drudge up these deep, passionate desires and also possessive, jealous, fearful things. And sometimes with Mercury in Scorpio like this, it feels like these thoughts become looped, you know, and our projections and our fantasies and our ability to long and seek outside of oneself can really be revealed to us, you know, and how we work with that energy, like how are we able to bring these things up, speak to them, process them, integrate them, find what is the projections, what are the places where we're seeking and longing outside of ourselves for something. You know, Scorpio rules that realm of sex, money, and power. It taps us into that part of us that longs and that wants to merge. And so with that deep longing comes fear, comes projection, you know. And this has been a potent time to really take a look at our longings, to really take a look at our desires and bring them up to be evolved. You know, to distill them down to their pure essence and to reclaim our power inside of those places. You know, when we long for something and we reach for it, there might be something that we deeply need to experience, and there also might be a place where we need to reclaim our power or we need to integrate it inside of ourselves. But Scorpio is kind of that experience where it's just like life. You know, it's craving and aversions, and it's you got to experience it to rise above it and transcend it. You got to experience the loss of it sometimes to find the source inside. You know, you got to experience the longing of that thing outside to see where it's coming from. And in that way, I think it's been very humbling and it's been very revealing, you know, and it's now going direct. And so all of that ground that we've covered, all of November into mid-October, we're now going back over, you know. So imagine that everything that came up over the last month and a half, all the triggers, all the unintegrated, all the shocking, like fearful, oh my God, it's here, we gotta keep it down, and then all of a sudden it's out, and oh fuck, what do we do about everyone knowing now, and like talking about it, and whatever it is, whatever has come up for you in the realms of sex, money, power, in the realms of your desires, in the realms of your power, you know, whatever your soul has revealed to you over this last month is now given a time to go back over, is now starting to, okay, how do you integrate that information? Okay, how do you make changes to that? How do you move from a space after you've uncovered these desires? How do you move in more alignment, in more integrity with those truths that have been revealed? And that's where I think this gift of Sagittarius comes in, so that it can give us this opportunity to see purpose and to integrate a truth in all of this, to bring it up out of the realms of our subconscious, bring it onto the table, and then make a pathway for it, you know, bring some light and some consciousness into it. And this energy is optimistic. I don't know about you, but I felt really confused and I felt really overwhelmed at times with this scorpionic energy, with all that it's brought up. And then now we're not fully out of it, but there's this clarity that's coming, at least of how to move forward, at least of how to start the process of that authenticity, of that alignment. You know, we're still in the journey of it because it's still going back through all the degrees of Scorpio. But with this Sagittarian energy, it gives us the fire and some of the clarity and some of that optimism to really forge a pathway that will bring us in to this integration of our power and of that authenticity. You know, with some of these transits, it's like if we're unwilling to change, if we're unwilling to see it and do the work and bring it up, then it's so much more painful. But with the Sagittarian energy, it's like, all right, you saw it. You pulled the skeletons out of the closet. You stripped down, bare naked. You spoke the things that were the unspeakable. You took a look at where you've lost your power and why. And now it's time to integrate that shit, you know? And the universe gives you fire. And the universe gives you Jupiter and Venus conjuncting on this Monday. It's a beautiful gift of Jupiter in its last degrees of Sagittarius. It's been in Sagittarius for a full year. And it's ending its journey in Sagittarius so beautifully with conjuncting in Venus, you know, which is the ultimate abundant, lucky, romantic, get in your body, remove the obstacles, bring this purpose and this truth into alignment with all that you value. You know, Venus rules our relationships and the way that we are in our body and our home. And so in Sagittarius conjuncting Jupiter, it's like, okay, how is your purpose and your truth? Reclaim it. Jupiter has been on a mission for a year to show us the roadblocks of where we aren't in alignment with that truth. You know, some people think Jupiter and Sagittarius should be this like, yeah, purposeful and abundant and super charismatic and jovial character, but it's also showing us the places where we're out of alignment with that mission, with that purpose, showing us the places where we're not in touch with our fire, where we're not clear in our direction, showing us the places where we feel hopeless. You know, because if Jupiter's medicine in Sagittarius is optimism and direction, and that fire being connected to a pathway and a direction, then it's going to also show us the places where that fire is out, where that arrow is lost, where that sense of purpose and truth has become disillusioned, you know. So this is really beautiful, expansive energy. And to me, Venus and Jupiter coming together at the end of Jupiter's journey in Sagittarius is this gift of expansion and of bringing it into this place inside of your home and inside of your body, bringing that optimism, bringing that fire, bringing that mission. I think Sagittarius to me is like, I'm on a mission from God, you know, and there's a lot of ways I felt a little bit lost from my prayer, from my purpose, especially with all that's going on in the world. It's overwhelming. You know, we have some dense, constricting energy in Capricorn going on, and it is really hitting us. We have the earth fully crying out, singing and yelling to us to listen, to come into alignment with our power. And these systems are breaking down. And Sagittarius is like, reclaim your part of the purpose, your part. What is your heroine's journey? What is your hero's journey? You know, that mission is coming back to me, and I love that energy. And so it's really asking to make sure that we grab a hold of that fire and that arrow so that we can make use of this energy. And I think it's really potent that we're simultaneously being asked to excavate our lower chakras, excavate where are our desires and our motives and intentions coming from. So Scorpio asks us, don't overlook these wounds and these fears or these places on unworthiness. Because if these beautiful missions of purpose and truth are threaded or fueled with this place of unworthiness, with these fears, with these misuses and manipulations of power, with betrayal and mistrust and all the things, if we don't bring that light down and really heal some of these deeper places where we've lost our power, where we give it away, where we feel that victim-perpetrator dance, that victim-perpetrator illusion, then that hero will always enter that triangle. And that Sagittarius wants to be that hero. But then if we are the hero inside of that triangle, we will always be finding that victim-perpetrator in our life, and then we will create that dynamic inside of ourselves. For instance, if the Sagittarius wants to be the hero, wants to do this mission, but it's threaded in this deep fear of unworthiness, then it overgives, it compensates, it gives out of its center to the point of depletion. You know, it feeds its essence to that same dynamic that it's trying to fight, that it's trying to heal, you know? And so that victim-perpetrator energy not only gets perpetuated on the outside and the external, but what happens on the inside when we deplete ourselves, when we overgive? We create that victim inside of ourselves. We perpetrate or we control, we oppress ourselves, we internalize this dynamic. And so this is a great time while Mercury is going back through to be mindful Where are our intentions and desires, and what is motivating them? Heal the wounds and the shames and the fears that may be fueling this Sagittarian mission. Because that Sagittarian energy needs to be directed to integrate that truth, to integrate that purpose and that healing, and to be in a place of power. And this is also a time, strong medicine with Uranus opposing Mars, the same exact day that Jupiter and Venus, this beautiful, abundant, expansive, optimistic energy comes to us, the same exact day we get Uranus and Mars opposing one another, which is revelation. It's the Mars energy of volatility and drive and passion in Eros. I want change. I want to self-actualize. This is my will. This is my desire. You know, Mars rules that masculine desire, that young energy of us. And Uranus in Taurus, it's this electric energy, this transformational, you know, this connection also to the collective. You know, Uranus in Taurus is sending lightning of insights and trauma and chains and sudden shock to our earth, to our resources. And then now it's opposing Mars, which is our warrior. This Mars in Scorpio energy is bringing up that desire to, I want to change. I want to strike through. I want to slash these patterns that have held us. All of these insights that Mercury in retrograde has brought us to uncover where we've lost our power, to uncover what desires need to be met and aren't. You know, the Mars energy gives this really strong force, this warrior energy almost, that it's like, I will change these patterns. I will take back my power. You know, and that force is extra strong with Uranus saying, liberate at all costs, even if it's shocking, even if it's sudden. You know, it's bringing this high voltage electricity. And it's also tying in last year, October, Venus went retrograde in Scorpio. It was a really full-on time of uncovering these desires, uncovering these places of our power and how we're using it, or how it's using us. And some of these themes are coming back now, you know, a whole year later, and now Mars and Mercury are in Scorpio. And Uranus is also in similar degrees to what it was last year. And so what that means to me is that these cycles that are coming back now, some of these feelings, some of these conversations, some of these deja vu experiences, at least for me anyways, for our relationships, for some of these deep internal processes that take alchemy, they take time to change. They're coming back now for a reason, and to give it new energy. So try not to be so discouraged if you feel like, what? I'm back in the same place I was last year. Like, what is happening? I thought I grew. I thought I learned from this. Like, what is going on? And instead try to, for one, get hyper aware. When these cycles happen, when this energy and these themes come up, it's like, wake up. It's like waking up inside of a dream to become lucid, so that you can create inside of that, so that you can make the changes. It's also a time of leaning in to the places inside of our body and our heart that holds that trauma, that holds that shame and those fears, that holds that jealousy or those fears of unworthiness. This unworthiness theme is big right now. And instead of trying to reach out and fix it or manipulate it or make it better or prove yourself or speak to this or whatever you need to do or whatever you think you need to do, pause in those moments, wake up, and take that extra time to touch that anxious part or that resistant pushing away part and see what kind of medicine, what kind of boundaries, what kind of transformation can you bring to these experiences? Can you bring to these moments so that profound growth happens? Because though it's volatile energy with Mars and Uranus, it's combustive, it's like reactionary sometimes. It could be slashing, burning, projection. I need to get free. I need to liberate it at all costs, and I'm going to push away from you to do it. Whatever it is. It's also higher wisdom, that lightning bolt of insight coming through to our masculine, coming through to the parts of us that have these deep wounds of shame and vulnerability and unworthiness wrapped around them, wrapped around our fire. You know, if Mars rules that yang, that ability to self-actualize, then it's wanting to liberate its core and purify it. You know, bringing presence and awareness to that reactive nature, but still using that fire to break and slash through the illusions, to wake up inside of them, and to bring yourself into a deeper place of alignment with that purpose and with that truth. Sagittarius asks us to embark on another 6-month journey. The new moon is a 6-month journey until the full moon in Sagittarius, to reclaim your spiritual purpose. What does that look like for you? What steps do you need to make? What seeds need to be planted in this time? And how can you liberate your fire so that you can water and blow and tend those seeds with your actions? Because it's guiding us into this new year where Jupiter will move into Capricorn, where Saturn and Pluto are conjuncting in Capricorn. And Capricorn says you have to do the work. You have to do the work, and you have to be diligent. You have to take responsibility to rebuild these systems and structures. You know, we're opening to a vision, a new vision in Sagittarius. And in Capricorn in this new year, we need to implement it. We need to build upon it. So, may this energy be so invigorating and igniting to you in this time of reclaiming your truth and your purpose, of also being willing to still hold those deeper parts of your sex, money, power, of your relationships, of your shame and your worthiness, or whatever it is that taints or hinders that fire from being in its purity, from being clear and direct. Liberate that shit so that we may begin this new year with diligence and discipline to fucking change these systems of power, because these old ones are crumbling, but we have to build something new, and we have to take responsibility, personal authorship, collective authorship in order to do that. blessings on this new moon. And with all of that said, I would love to work with you. If any of this stuff is rocking your world, if you have these places, these core patterns that really want to be integrated, I love working with clients on a weekly or monthly basis to really start integrating some of these patterns. My passion is to work with how have you lost your power, how to reclaim it, and how can you step into more alignment with your fire, with your sexuality. I'll be doing 50% off on all of my readings for this next week. And in conjunction, I'm doing a 10-session package that includes breaking down your chart, uncovering these core wounds, these patterns, and going through a process of reclaiming your power, your sexuality, and that purpose, and how to really implement it for this new year, how to really take that authorship back of your life in all areas. It is a dedicated and revealing, humbling journey to go on it, and I'd love to do it with you. So give me a call. Message me at archimemoon@gmail.com or reach out to me on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you.